Welcome back to Between Two Cars. Your hosts, Kyle Orr and Matt, the Walrus, Maxwell.
Today I'm wearing something special. It's going to be about our topic. What am I wearing? Can you see it? Can you see it on the TV? Kansas City Chiefs. And what are they, Kyle?
They have absolutely nothing to do with the car business.
They are champions.
They have nothing to do with the car business.
Well, yeah, they do. A little bit. Let's talk about that. So I want to talk about today's topic. We're going to talk about the difference between winning and losing, like the difference between, you have a winning championship team and the difference between a team that is struggling, right? So right now the team, you can pick any team, but everybody can correlate with the Chiefs right now because they're two-time defending champions, and everybody's talking to them right now on ESPN. The different talk shows about they keep winning. How are they winning? Right? We're not going to talk about okay, he's my team or your team or whatever like that. I want to talk about just why do you think, in your opinion, you have
I actually feel like I'm being put on the spot, like I have to be a Chiefs fan.
No. Don't worry about the fan deal, but look at why do you have a team like that? Just like the Bulls, right?
Okay.
A team like that. That wins no matter what, right? So when you have a team that wins, the Patriots, the Chiefs, the Bulls, and they have this winning and they keep winning, right? They become in the beginning they're kind of everybody's favorite team, right? Because they're like, hey, obviously they weren't winning, and then all of a sudden they overcame
you didn't
something.
Say the Yankees.
Yankees, same thing, and the Cardinals, and but in the beginning they're the team that that they're striving to become the winning team, right? And then they become the winning team, and then when they win, when they have dynasties like that, the Cowboys, the Patriots, we'll just talk football right now because football season. Yankees are one of them too. Why do you think those organizations continue to keep winning? What's the ingredients?
Well, I'll say that they can. There's a lot of things that go into it, right? I mean, the vision for any winning team is always the same vision, right?
Right.
So, and then everybody has a role that they're responsible for in that winning atmosphere. And so they know that in order to continue, they've got to develop themselves to be the best at their role in order to make a team. So a single person is responsible for the results of one big culture. Mm-hmm. And where most teams fail, this is sports or non-sports, I mean, you can see it just even in your election stuff. I mean, I look at the United States right now, we're failing, right? And that's because we have too many people trying to row the boat the wrong direction or their own direction, right?
Yeah, we don't have a leader pulling everybody together, all the parties together, right?
Your camaraderie starts usually. I mean, when you're talking sports, there's usually one guy that comes claim to fame, right? And he becomes what I consider the silent leader, right? So you got your Michael Jordans and stuff out there. Those are the guys that are working harder and harder every day on themselves, and that starts to rub off on the people that are next to them, okay? Then after a while, they're all bought in on the same vision. And when everybody's working in their own lanes, then they become a big team that become a championship team. Then you get to a dynasty by pulling all the fan. When you're winning, there's some luck that you're going to get, right? When you're doing all the right things,
sure,
you get lucky, right? Mm-hmm. And you see that with the Chiefs. We'll go back. We razz each other a lot about football and stuff because I'm a Cincy fan and he's a Chiefs fan. And they're both great organizations, but you can see right now where Cincinnati Bengals, right, it's the blame game, right? They're figuring it out. They have all the makings of a great team. They probably have a championship team. They could be a dynasty team.
But they're missing one ingredient.
But they're missing a link, right?
And yeah, I agree with that. And if you look at it's the coaching, in my opinion. We've been talking about this for quite some time because I'm like, man, the Bengals have probably the best wide receiver cores in the NFL, or at least top three. I mean, you've got and they've got great tight ends, and they've got one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, but they just can't pull it together. And when you look at
their
these,
offense is playing one day,
Yeah.
their defense is playing one day, but
So-
they're never playing at the same time.
so when you look at that, you're going, okay, why is that? It comes back down to the leadership of the team. It comes back down to the culture of the team. And in my opinion, it comes back. It's to the coaches. I think, and it might be higher than the coaches. I don't know, but there's something internal going on that team. Versus if you look at the Chiefs right now, then the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a head coach that's been there now 14 years. Right, so there's consistency there, and that's one thing that I love about the NFL too is the teams that have kept their coaches and not go 2 years fire, get another coach, 2 years fire,
They've developed.
the coach's culture, and
Your coach came from another
Philadelphia,
another championship organization, right?
and what they did.
Even though he's not there, did they win a Super Bowl under him?
He took them. They went to the Super Bowl
Twice, I think,
and they didn't win. And here's what happened. I think with them. So when the Chiefs went out and got Andy Reid, and a lot of fans of the Chiefs for a long time might remember this, maybe they don't. The year that they went and got him, they went 2-14. Their linebacker. I guess they found out. I think he had some brain damage from getting hit and stuff. But he goes out and he kills his girlfriend who was pregnant, and then goes back to the stadium and shoots himself in front of the president of the team and the coach.
Yeah,
right there in the stadium. Well, I don't know how much lower you can get as far as an organization than that, right? So I think the Hunts looked in the mirror, and they're a very Christian family, very wealthy, very Christian type family in their faith and stuff. So they went out and said, okay, hey, we need, and they did the same thing. They had coach, they'd fire coach, and they remember Marty Ball and all that stuff. So they could get so far, but they just couldn't get to that next level. Well, so Andy Reid gets let go over at the from the Eagles, because they were struggling a little bit. So they decided. I mean, here's a guy that was there for 10 years, takes them to the Super Bowl twice, or maybe once or twice.
But if you remember, if you look at the last 2 years of the Eagles, is kind of where I was going. When Andy Reid was pretty much on his way out, and I think he knew he was kind of on his way out. But you started hearing about there were Eagle players. You know, you had what was it, Mike Vick or somebody that was getting in trouble up there?
Yeah, they started losing.
Getting in trouble.
Well, there's an answer for that. Here's what happened. So at that time, he was the general manager and the coach. He was playing two different big roles, and I think that's what. And he probably went after that because he made a mistake, and he talks about that today. I took on too big of roles. I'm a head coach. That's what I do. I'm a head coach. I coach. I can develop players. I can develop a scheme, and that's what I'm good at. So when he came to the Chiefs, he did bring some of his people over from the Chiefs that the coaching staffs and things like that. But he says, I want to be a part of the players the communication he should as a head coach on who we're going to bring on, but I don't want to run the team. That's not my deal. I want to coach the team. So you all have roles. That's where I was going with this. So everybody has a role. And what I've noticed with the Chiefs in the last 14 years is that he hasn't had a whole lot of turnover. The special teams coach has been there since day one, Dave Tobe. His defensive coordinator, Spags, has been there now 6 years. And just now are you seeing the defense starting to convert to a top 5 defense. I think they were top 2 last year, but now they're starting to become a more consistent defense, and that's also because they're winning and they're starting to retain players. And when you really start seeing a culture take over, people, they love to win, right? And when they know that they're in a winning culture and winning team, they're going to start doing things that normal people won't do. For example, they take pay cuts to be able to stay on a championship team because they like winning and they like the culture. And that's what you're seeing with the Chiefs. You don't see they knew they had to pay Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, for what it's worth, I'm not worried about the GOAT talk or anything like that. But in his first 6 years, no one's done what he's done. No one's gone to 5 AFC championship games and 4 Super Bowls in their first 6 years. No one's ever done that. So they knew they were going to have to pay him, right? So the first contract they give him out of his rookie year, he gets paid. He's the highest paid quarterback in the league, right? So he gets it $500 million or whatever it was. And if you look now, what he's doing is he's not even in the top 10 as far as pay. But he took a page, I think, out of Michael Jordan's book, and that's why the Bulls won so many times. Michael Jordan didn't leave his team either, and he was not the top paid player in the NBA. What he did is he got paid, but he got paid enough to where he could bring in other people to help support him to win the championship, because you can't win a championship with one guy, right? You got to have a team in order to do that. And so you're starting to see that really with the Chiefs. I mean, you had Chris Jones restructured his contract this year. You had Kelsey restructure it this year. You had Mahomes restructured again this year. And they want to do something that other people haven't done before. They're in a position to create history. And when you have that buy-in and you're winning and doing that stuff, it catches on and it's contagious. So but on the other side of it, when you have everybody questioning, and now nobody questions Andy Reid. They really don't. Andy Reid isn't I think Andy Reid's a great leader. He's a great head coach. But let me tell you something. He's lost his 2 sons. One of them for drug overdose, and when he was playing for the Eagles, died at camp. And another one was he didn't lose him, but he went to jail because he killed somebody or hurt somebody. I can't remember, in Kansas City for drinking and driving. So he's not perfect. I mean, he hasn't. There's been some turmoil in his life and stuff, and there's probably other things. But the one thing that he's
also had a few players kill people.
Yeah. I mean, it's not been like he's not made mistakes. But what you're seeing now is that he's more humbled. He's not as his ego was higher up over the Philadelphia Eagles, I think, than where he is today. And I think those things have probably shaped that a little bit. But when you look at these other teams and these other quarterbacks, and they're going out there saying, "Hey, I want to be." You never heard Patrick Mahomes say, "I want to be the number one paid player in the NFL." You'll never hear that from him. But
Don't say never.
So
he just hadn't said it yet.
I don't think he's going to. He grew up in the locker room. He grew up with money. He grew up around the players and stuff. Yeah. I think his dad and mom kind of molded that a little bit in him, and he's all about the team. But he's making plenty of money. He's got all these endorsements coming in. That's where Michael Jordan did the same thing. He's a billionaire. Right. But I think when you go into an organization and someone says, "I want to be paid the best or the most, I'm worth that," what type of message do you think that sends to everybody else? Right? If you really want to, and here's how it correlates to business, I believe. The numbers tell the tale. We heard that from Tony growing up, right? If you want to earn the money, do the work. Let the numbers tell the tale. Don't, and then the money will come. You want to get paid, go out there and produce, and you'll eventually get paid, right? That's basically what they're saying. The numbers will tell the tale. And if you concentrate and make sure that you keep improving the numbers, everything else will fall into place. But if I walked into a dealership and I sat there and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm the best guy here, and I want to be paid the best," your other team, your other people that are working around you don't. I mean, they're not. That's not a positive thing for them. They're like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah.
Right. And it's because it's all about that guy. So,
but you walk into a lot of cultures. I mean, so you can walk into here. We're in the auto business, right? But you can walk into any situation, any restaurant, any store. I don't care what it is, and you can tell the ones that are beating the same drum, right?
Sure.
You know, walking in, just the feeling of how it is.
Right.
Right. I think this is kind of where you're alluding to, is that when you've got a culture where this is the way it is and it's always, that's how it's going to be and this is how we do things here, that culture breeds into what people are coming in to buy from you. they know the expectation, right?
Right.
I mean, we've done it time and time again, just in the corporate store and in our own, 1 year, out on our own, and we've had to make adjustments. I mean, we've hired some people we thought were going to be spot on and right, and they didn't make it in this environment. And I can tell you this: it isn't from the lack of people caring about them or giving them an opportunity, but we are two people that believe in, if we ask you to do something, you better believe that we're willing to do it on our own too.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I want to allude to. It's actually, is it today is our 1 year anniversary?
For the company.
Yeah. Today is our 1 year anniversary for our company. And I wanted to, from then till now, okay, look at what we've done in 1 year. So let's not talk about, okay, hey, we've got 2 stores and stuff like that. But what do you think as a company, the things that we need, the things we've done right, and the things that we need to work on and improve?
We've made a lot of mistakes in a year, but some of it, I say it's mistakes we've learned. Really, I don't know that it's a mistake, because I believe a mistake is when you know something, then you do it, and then it fails on you, right? Mm-hmm. But there's some things that in the independent world is quite a bit different than being in the corporate world. And so we've had some learning moments, even with, just personnel, right? Mm-hmm. How many times have we changed staff?
Mm-hmm. Quite a bit of time.
In 1 year's time, 1 year's time, and we don't have a large number of staff, but we've still entrusted in some people, and we've had to make some business decisions. And unfortunately, nothing against the guys that were here before or anything like that. They're great people as a person, but for a business, they weren't beating the same drum as we were. They started going on a different direction. I mean, in a small business, you can't afford to let that stick around very long.
Well, in any business, but it escalates itself, I think, in a small business more than a bigger business, just because it's more small business. You don't have the capital and things like that to be able to keep making a mistake in a small business magnifies itself further than what.
Yeah, and we've learned that too. I mean, but there's some cool things is that there's a silver lining to everything that might be, that might happen to you in a small business, because we've had to go back, and when we've got off course of our original plan, we could tell, right? We could feel it. Everybody around us could feel it. And then we just go back to that written piece of paper and we go, well, wait a minute. When we planned this thing out and wrote it, this is what we were going to do. And every time that we go back to that, right, and we look at that, it starts to change a little bit for us in a positive way. Mm-hmm. And so, after 1 year being in business, I would tell anybody that was going out to open a business, a small business, stay true to what you believed in before you opened the door. Mm-hmm. And make sure that the people that are going to work for you believe in that same thing.
100%. I agree with that. I also think we've learned a lot. There's a whole list of things. I think the one thing is that you got to stay humbled. You got to stay humbled in the fact of knowing that every decision that you make impacts the business, either positive or negative, but it impacts the business more than what you really think. And so you need to make sure that decision you're making is a calculated, educated decision. Number one. And then number two is that you've got to dot your I's and cross your T's a whole lot, and every day you got to keep learning every day, which we do, and it's all about, again, having the right people on the bus too. So the faster or the bigger that we grow, the more that we grow, you and I are getting pulled in even more different directions. So we have to develop people in order to handle those other things that we're doing. But the one thing that we made a mistake on is that we don't have a standard operating procedure yet book, right? We don't have that. We know what to do because we grew up, and some of the guys are bringing on worked for us, so they kind of know.
We actually have one, but we just haven't finished.
Right. But well, it's not that should have been probably done before
we hired people.
So there's a mistake there, but that's okay. But those things you learn from, and that way you're staying more on task.
And I kind of agree and disagree with that, because there's some things that we've learned with having employees in a small business that I don't think I would have thought about writing a policy manual, because, if I'm just sitting there and it's two partners working in one place, it's a little bit different because we're on the same page. We wrote the darn plan together. Mm-hmm. But you bring another guy in, and the worst thing you can do as a leader is not listen to your employees, right?
Your operating procedure can change every day.
Yeah.
It's just, it's communicate. You can adjust that and but I think the expectations, we want to be different than the corporate deal. That's one of our goals was, okay, hey, we're going to run this differently. We want a more Christian value type deal. We want more home value type deal. We want them, we want to be able to be out there in the community and help people and do things different than walking in and, asking, we want to build a relationship with the employees and with the customers for long-term type business type deal. Your mom and pop type, hey, you come in where a handshake means something and stuff like that, right? That's what we wanted to do. So but sometimes what happens is what you have to do is make sure that the employees that come on understand what that vision is, and they're wholeheartedly bought in on that deal. And here's what by the way, in an independent deal, you're pretty much your own entrepreneur. Okay. Yeah. So they don't, so a lot, and that's one thing that we were learning, say, hey, being in the business 27 years, and we've created our own, we have a lot of people that know what we do because we've been in town for that long and we've sold that many cars and stuff like that. We know how to market and stuff like that ourselves because we've been doing it for so long. These guys that come out from these independent stores that haven't been in the business for very long don't know that.
Right.
And so they think, okay, it's your typical, well, people are going to show up on the lot. No, they're not. They're not. They're not going to do that. So yes, you'll have that maybe, right? But that's not really how we built the business either. I mean, that's not what our vision was, to have that type of a deal.
There's one thing that I would say moving forward a year into it, and I know we're close to wrapping up. There's one thing that I would like to see happen, and we kind of do it, but we don't do it consistently. And that's that you got to talk. You have to talk every day or at least once a week. We have meetings on Wednesdays, things like that. But you have to be out in front of that and talk about your core belief every day, with your team. Mm-hmm. And your vision statement and your mission every day, because it has to be a constant reminder. And I think as a leader, for me, where we fail to do that is we get busy trying to conquer, our own tasks during the day, and we don't find time to consistently say, hey, we're taking 30 minutes and here's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. We're going to go through what our vision is, make sure everybody's out on the same page, and then we move forward with our day.
Well, so let's set that a goal for the next year.
Yeah,
that'll be goal number one. When we went through Southwest Consulting, one of their biggest things, if you remember, was one-on-ones, right? And constantly sitting down, vision board. I mean, we haven't done the vision boards, and stuff like that, and we've done them, but that's not. We haven't brought that culture for the guys coming in. We need to do that. We need to sit there so we can help them achieve what they need to achieve. So it helps us achieve what we need to achieve, right? So, yeah, I think, but now in defense of all that, we've grown so fast. We acquired our second store. We had to, if you really think about it, it took us probably 4 months doing the construction and getting the 2 stores, 3 months on each store. which took a lot of our time away from doing those type things because we were, the construction guys, the painter, the guy calling, getting materials, whatever it is, meeting this, run over here doing that. And so one thing I think that we need to do when we grow, and we're going to grow again, is that's more streamlined, more effectively than the way we've done it. Because I think we've known, okay, hey,
time management,
right? So, but in order for us to go to that next store, we got to have people trained and developed to where they're doing the things that they, selling cars, so we can go do that. Right. So I think that's a big thing that we learned. So it's been a great 1 year. I mean, I'm not disappointed at all. We've had some things, ups and downs. We've had great customers. We've got great people coming in and helping us, and our partners with Commander Financial. I mean, phenomenal people. You couldn't ask for a more wholesome family. That's helped us. You've got guys like Scott Comar is helping us develop our people and giving us some help there. You got some other guys, Tony. I've been talking to him, and he's
how about our longest employee?
Who's that?
Brecken Vaught.
Well, I wouldn't call him an employee. He's more of a he's like a fixture of just pure heart and success.
Outside the two of us, he's been here the longest, right?
He's what we call him. We're the original three. Mm-hmm. So he's part of the family. So
there were five.
It's kind of like go back to Disney.
It's like the mafia. It's
the three dwarfs.
The
Three Musketeers. That's what we're calling ourselves.
The family was broken up.
Right. But and you're right.
I've been watching too much of the Penguin.
He's developed a lot too. He's gotten, look at our podcast. I mean, he's really taken that to help us get that going. So, but I think the next year we need to sit down and set our goals for what that means, really what we want to do, get everybody together, let's get their input on that, and then attack this thing like we've never attacked it. I mean, every day, and just go after market share. We're over our time, 30 minutes. So anyway, that's we'll do that on our next podcast. But congratulations on your 1 year, partner, and
congratulations.
That's a good thing. Brecken, you've been here the whole time, so thank you for this. And I expect that there better be some funny ass reels coming from this. I don't think there's not one funny thing, is there? Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
It's pretty serious.
It's a good one though. All right. Have a good day.